Radio.
Don't go nowhere. For sure.
Welcome back to the Dainhen Butler Show. This is Instinct Radio. We'll pick up where we left off at. I'm a numbers person, and not just a numbers person. I always try to deal with the facts because I lived my life for such a long period of time without being exposed to what some may deem as being the truth. Like when I thought about Jesus, I thought about the white man that was next to Martin Luther King in my grandmama's living room. Every time I prayed, that's what I saw. Until I began to just question myself and question my own thoughts. And then I began to come up with my own solutions. Not to say that those solutions are right or wrong, but it's not something that somebody else pushed upon me. So my life is dedicated to not adapting to what I've adopted to. My life is dedicated to independent thought. And then throughout my independent thought, if I come to those conclusions, that's one thing. But I think for whatever reason, a lot of us, we just simply adapt to what somebody else has pushed upon us. And we don't, with that being said, we don't even question anything else. We take that for what it's worth, and we live and we die by it. If I tell my mama that, you know what, I don't know about this white man that's hanging from the picture. You know what's gonna happen? If you spend the night at her house, you're gonna get some holy oil on you. That's what's gonna take place. When I told my mama I was thinking about being a Muslim, that's what happened. I woke up the next morning, I had a bump on my head because the canola oil broke me out. I'm just saying that's the background I come from. Well, if my grandmama, her name was Georgia Mildred, if you at her house, you went to church. That's just what was going on. There wasn't no question about that. So my whole thing is this, I'm saying all that to say this. A lot of times we get so caught up in what somebody else has told us and the truth that they've given us that we don't even look at the facts. And when I start thinking about love, the way I explain love to my children is that it's an element and it could be a part of your emotional intelligence or your emotional retardation, because both of them very much so exist. Sometimes we get so caught up in the emotions of things, we ignore the logic. We don't find the logic in it. We go with these fuzzy feelings. We go with what somebody has posted on their Instagram. A lot of people get married because they want the post. They want the likes. They want to say, you know what, by the time I got to this age, I was married, we had 3.5 kids, and we lived in this house. It's not realistic. It's just not realistic. And when I start taking and bringing certain facts to the table in reference to our existence in this world, they get questioned because you simply haven't been exposed to them. For everything that's taking place, there is original facts.
Well, let me throw something there because I hear this that come up all the time, and the question, and I've always heard it in dialogue when I'm dealing with Christianity, right? Mm-hmm. But this is the question: didn't you have to learn from something?
Without a doubt.
If I came here and just told you every black folk tale, every southern, that's what you all know. Because for years, man, I didn't want to break a mirror. I didn't want to, I didn't want to split no pole. Yeah. Me and my mom have debates now. Yeah. Like I can't in certain times, like getting ready to be New Year, well, you better have all them clothes washed. I'm like, Mom, I don't do it. None of it. Okay. You see what I'm saying? None of it. Mm-hmm. None of it. So we all learn from something, man. Mm-hmm. So the point I'm making is, we get these, especially when we start talking about beliefs and religion, people will throw, y'all want to just believe, but okay, you learn something from whether somebody gave you a book on black religion or black beliefs or whatever you learned while you was reading, you learned from something, right?
Without a doubt.
That's all that I want to say about that.
So basically, he's saying white Jesus good enough for him. That's what he's saying.
No. Hey, I mean, no. Okay. Let me throw that because the point I'm making.
I don't have nothing against Christianity. No. I'm just saying that I question everything. If you come in here,
but what did you?
No. So did you? Everything. That's in John.
Did you get highlighted with that? Like just one day you just said, "Oh, why is there a white Jesus?"
No, I'm just telling you.
Or you heard some people saying like, "There ain't no white Jesus."
It wasn't even a white.
The description ain't white.
We know what I'm saying.
Let me answer the question.
That's what you learned from years.
It wasn't a color thing with me. I'm telling you that from my own personal experience. Because I didn't learn the Lord's Prayer until I was confined. Let's just be honest about that. Okay. I should pretend to know. I should mouth it. I didn't really know it. But then what I'm saying is that when I actually began to picture myself talking to God, what I saw, and this is with no interaction, no conscious interaction with anybody, but what I saw was a white man. And I didn't even identify him as being a white man at the time. I said, this is what I see. When you say God to me, that was the first thing that popped in my mind. So I began to question it. And I hadn't come to my full conclusion about everything. I'm always growing. And I'm not saying that what I'm saying, is this, that whatever you got going on, you know, that is for you. Everybody's on their journey. With me, my journey is this, that I always seek truth. Whatever that truth is. If you got the truth and you've been having it for a while, guess what? If I'm seeking it, I'll eventually make my way there. But there's a process within it. And I think throughout life, a lot of times, we just automatically go there without taking our own individual journey. But when I get there to that journey or there to that journey, guess what? It's so concrete, and I want to hear stronger soldiers. But I'm not going to pretend that I got what you got when I don't have it. I need to get there so I can be full of what's going on. Because what takes place is when you get there and you ain't really got it, then the little boys get touched. Then there's 4, 5 ushers getting touched. You see what I'm saying? That's my, and I think that some of us, we adapt to what people have said. This is the right way, and if you don't do this, you're going straight to hell. You're going to get married, you're going to have this and that, and it's not the real world. The world, right now, what we're living in is you have to deal with the facts, and that's just it.
I think that Mr. Butler, that may have been the ideology many, many years ago. See, I remember being a young man and sitting around folks that was really like laying hands, and people was falling out, and you know, they was reading Revelations, and we were scared to death and didn't want to walk home, didn't know, you know, we were scared to death. Mm-hmm. But they were trying to push that down us, and they were pushing it down our throat to get us to try to awaken, and we thought we were already awake. But, you know, I was a product of that. I don't see that happening now. Folk don't even talk to our youth about God. I sit in a, I don't want to talk about what I do, but I'm in a place where there's, where we have youth that are around some godly folks. And not one time have I seen one of them come down and say anything to the kids. They're afraid. They're afraid of the youth. And you know why they're afraid of the youth?
People might be tuned in. Man.
That's all right. I'm good, though.
Okay.
I'm good. You should know me by now.
I say that because this is my supervisor. So
yeah.
And I've mentioned some things.
Yeah, they haven't been down. They hadn't spoken to him. And, but they're afraid of the youth. And one of the things that happened is that, you know, it's interesting. I was listening to this thing. I may have forwarded it to someone, but the sister was talking about that when the parents were able to, when they brought in this special ed, and you all might not know about much about special ed, but I remember because we used to laugh with our little partners when they first came out with special ed, and they put them in there and they were reading like robots, and we would tease them and all kind of foolishness growing up then. But they brought special ed. When the special ed came, then it caused the kids to be alienated from the rest of the kids. Mm-hmm. And they feared those kids. And then the parents began to try to discipline them because the stigma that the kids believed that they were slow and behind anyway, so they got unruly. So the parents started dealing with them, and then the court said, you can't deal with your children no more. So the parents were afraid to deal with the children. And then the school couldn't deal with them no more because they said ain't no paddling. See, when I grew up, I used to get my butt paddled with a big old board. And I used to cry before I got to the principal's office. And I got a paddling in the principal's office. And I got a paddling from the doggone coach, our PE teacher. And they used to call you right. And sometimes they would paddle you in front of everybody. I don't even know about that. To get a paddling. I'm talking about with a paddle. Okay, so watch this. So when you got the paddling, the school stopped dealing with you because cases came up where people were abusive. Mm-hmm. The school system got scared because the courts came at them and said, guess what, you can't deal with your children. Now, guess what, parents can't deal with your children at home now because DFACS and all them folks will be at your house. Mm-hmm. Guess what, now you got where when the parents got afraid of the kids, guess what, the kids ain't afraid of nothing. And I work with them every single day. I got 100 and something enrolled in a program right now. And they ain't scared of nothing that you say. And that young brother sitting right across from me right now, Mr. Butler, he go through it with him every day. And they go toe to toe with him. And I watch him. Sometimes he don't know what I'm watching. I'm just listening. Mm-hmm. But they talk to him and they talk down to him. They talk to him. They don't care. And they ain't scared of him either. They're not afraid. And guess what? So these are the young men that are coming up in our generation right now. So we talk about a shortage. That's a part of the shortage. And a lot of it is because they have an ability to think and they don't have any fear for anything. Because ultimately the goal is the further we get from God, we tend to have less fear for the things of the world.
So how do you teach a youth like that, who's hardcore like that, how to love themselves and love someone else? Or is it just going to keep a cycle that's going to keep happening? You're not going to be able to find it because Where is a life like that going to do?
Let me tell you something.
Lead to?
You know that's why we try to do what we do with mentors. But you know what I found out is that if you don't, usually when you don't catch them between the ages of 3 and 5, boy, it's a tough
3
challenge.
and 5.
You better believe it, because that is the most influential life. That's where everything is developed. That's where more values, all of that stuff begins to happen between the ages of 3 and 5. The language is developed. The loving. If there ain't no love in there, and then you start catching them after that, it makes it real difficult. So when I'm dealing with the kids in my program and I see it, I don't get mad at them no more, because most of them never had anyone speaking to them. Let me tell you something, sister. If ain't no man spoken to your life and told you that you was a queen and that you was beautiful and that you had quality about you and that no man should be able to say anything to you because you are a queen and because you are a black, powerful woman and that you are going to be a great woman and that there's no weapon formed against you to prosper, that you are the head and not the tail and above and not beneath. If they didn't speak that to you on a continuous basis, well, somebody did tell you when you got it from somebody.
I think to piggyback off of that, I think, you know what, we're dealing with the kids and just doing whatever it is that you do in life in reference to going to different schools or going to different entities and spreading and getting people to think on different levels, because that's what your work does. That's what your passion does. And I say that because years ago, before I even met you, I like spoken word. I like the thought of it. And I was just like, I was telling my brother, I was like, man, this woman, she does this, she does that, and she got this spoken word. And some kind of way we still end up interacting and meeting each other. I'm saying all that to say that, you know what, sometimes you just gotta put what you got into the world, and this is what you've taught me. Put what you got into the world or to an individual, expose it to it, and you know what, keep it moving, because I can't fix you totally. No, you can't. I can't fix you totally, but what I can do, what I'm obligated to do, and I think we all agree to this, I have an obligation. I have an obligation to my ancestors, and I have an obligation to those people who come after me. Even with this show, everything that's taking place is done for the greater good of the world. And the moment I stop trying to put goodness in the world, I'm gone. I'm up out of here. So I think that's whatever misunderstanding or whatever the avenue may be, I think we all have that. We understand that responsibility.
Yeah.
Can I? Go ahead. I was just gonna say, I think, you know, and like I said, we all deal with mentees and mentors and going in different facilities, man. And, you know, for me, man, it's more emotional now for me than ever before, because when I watch, you know, young girls that ain't scared of anything anymore, and I watch young men who are not scared of anything anymore, and I watch so many of them come from broken families, so many of them that doesn't have father figures in their life, you know, mothers who are entertaining other situations, because I went through that same situation in my life. My mother was a provider, loved me. She gonna come to school, but she came to school off lies because I lied on most of my teachers. You see what I'm saying? She didn't rationalize or say, you know what, my child probably is doing this. You see what I'm saying? So when we dealing with these young people, man, and one thing I try to do, man, is I don't try to expose them to too many of my I'm not gonna stuff the church down, you know, their life. I try to make sure I live my life, of course, in front of them, and how I speak, talk, you know, what I try to expose them to different things, to give them different ideas of what life is. You know, that life is bigger than the little small place that you've been stuck in all your life. You know what I'm saying? Because most kids haven't really lived outside of a 5-mile radius, probably. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all they know. But I think, you know, we have to. There's so much dialogue going on, and people are trying to prove each other wrong. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or try to, you know, belittle the next person. Then what we're not realizing that while we're doing this, while the handful of us is doing this, our communities are steadily falling down. And when I talk to some, you know, even some of my white friends or what, I'm like, man, don't think that it doesn't affect you, because it affects everybody. You know, if we don't take opportunity to all of us to work together to start working some of these solutions out, man, it affects everybody. I don't care how far you think you over into a neighborhood and nothing's happening, because a friend of mine just told me, said, over here in East Carbon, around these wealthy neighborhoods, the suicide rate is high, but they don't talk about it. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So there's a problem that's going on in every community, you know what I'm saying, that needs to be addressed.
I just want to say this because he made, okay.
What we're about to do, because we're entering the end of the show. We're going to go in a circle. We're going to allow everybody to have their time to shine, and this your opportunity to plug your show your show or what you got going on without Jack sending you an invoice. Let people know what's going on in the community. And just your final thoughts on the show as a whole and what you want to give your last word on. We'll start right here with Aaron.
Back to the topic, is love enough? I don't think it is. Like Steele said, it's the foundation. But I think we forget sometimes that all foundations start in the dirt. And it ain't always pretty. Speaking about, the youth and the kids, this right here is the foundation. So the love that we have for our community, for our youth, for our ancestors, and for our descendants is the foundation and the springboard to help us to build what we need to build. And even in relationships, love is something that is just the foundation. Everything has to spring from that and build from that, and not love for the other person, but at first love for self and love for who you are, because you cannot even attempt to love someone without first loving yourself. And all love is the recognition of the God in someone else. So until you recognize the God in you, you can't recognize the God in anybody else. So that's all I got to say about that.
Nephew.
I just want to say, I think it starts at home, man. So fathers, love your children. Mothers, love your children. And don't leave it up to rap music or entertainment to teach you, to teach your kids. You teach them. Love everybody around you, because, like you said, it starts at home. So we can't sit here and keep blaming rap music and everything else around us, because I learned everything from my parents, not from what I saw in the movies or what I heard in the music. You can listen to it, but you got to know where it starts, and it started at home. So just take that into consideration, and you can listen to my show, the 9 to 5 podcast. And I think it was a pretty successful episode. I learned a lot. I got a lot of different point of views, and I'm gonna take them and consider them into my life. And when I'm talking to my daughter, hopefully she can learn from it too.
I was sitting here and as I was thinking, I was looking at my Twitter profile today, and somebody had sent me a message or something stating that they liked something that I had said, and I had forgotten that I had even said that. It was, but I'm glad that I caught it today before I got here, and it said that the plan of God is to return the hearts of the sons back to the fathers. God has a plan for each one of us at this table. It's, sometimes it may be hard to believe, but his ultimate goal is to return the hearts of the sons back to the fathers. Right now, there's no heart. Sister, you are right. The sons don't want to deal with the fathers. They don't want to, because they don't see that what they feel or think is a man. And I've taught this manhood, quest for authentic manhood, all over this city just about, and all up in these prisons and all over the place about this 24 sessions of what a man is and his purpose and his plan and the brokenness and how do you overcome that brokenheartedness and all that stuff that we deal with, the manhood issues. But I just believe that there's a plan and a purpose. And I don't believe that we got to go all over the city to find it. There's a song that says God didn't give, well, there was a song many years ago, and you all may have seen the show, that said that God didn't give anything to the tin man that he didn't already have. Everything you need is on the inside of you. Guess what? There's not a thing that has really happened that you didn't already, God didn't give you a vision to say, you know what, this person got something about him ain't right, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. There's not been one female that I've been with that I knew that before I even walked down that aisle with her was something that wasn't right about this, but I wanted it anyway. There's nothing that God has that I haven't found anything that I had to go looking for that wasn't already on the inside of me. That he just created us like that. But I do believe there's a plan, and I believe it's going to come back, Mr. Butler, and we're going to establish our families again. I'm hopeful for that. I think that's what we have to do. Because one thing I've learned after being involved in drug addiction and working as an addiction counselor, that I can't fix you. Nobody can fix you but you. Nobody can fix you. And that's what the problem was, and that's how we got here. Folks wanted to fix us. Where we needed to fix our own communities, but folks came in to try to fix them. We can fix it. We have it. We have enough at this table right now to change at least the east side. At least the east side.
Can we start on the west?
Out on the west. Yes, yeah. Need some help over, baby. Yeah, we're gonna help you.
As far as is love enough, like I said, love is depending on your definition of what love is. Love to me is all encompassing. It's not just a feeling, it's how you treat and think about the person that you say you love. So if you have honor, loyalty, dignity, integrity, oh, you good, because that's how you gonna live in love. That's so love is more than enough if those are part of how you love. It's not just a feeling. And as far as our children and how we are examples to them, just continue to be an example. Continue to work hard at reaching out. Too many times we ignore. You know what I'm saying? And reach back. You don't have to wait on somebody to come talk to you about their problems. You see problems every day. Just that reach out, just that kind word. Like he said, we don't understand how powerful our simple words can lift someone. You know what I'm saying? That's everybody in your life. And I just want to say, like, because this is what I want to respond to. I am never to discredit anybody's way in how they minister and live. That's our problem. I don't care how you get it done, just get it done. Mm-hmm. You feel me? There are 10,000 ways to God. I don't care how you get there. That's on you. You feel me? And as long as it worked for somebody, that's all that matters. As long as somebody gets it, as long as somebody's elevated. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful about the kids. As far as the relationships go, the numbers, I hear y'all, but it's some real. It's not just the numbers, it's the quality and the compatibility. You have two generations where our community totally focused on young women's upliftment and didn't give a damn about the brothers. So you got this huge gap of intelligence that we have to deal with. So, I mean, I just want to say, sisters, humble yourselves, and brothers, uplift yourself. Pick a book up and pick up the newspaper, and don't be scared to do things that you've never done before, because this is what our problem is. You know what I'm saying? And sisters, I feel like we have a big disease going on called delusion of grandeur. So, you know, I just need everybody to humble themselves and work together as a team. I want a partner coach. Shout out to all the brothers who play coaches, who LeBron the game. I'm a LeBron chick myself. So if you're looking for somebody who play all positions and sell popcorn, here I am. All
right. I want to say God love is enough to build your house on. This is a real sensitive subject to me when you start talking about our community, because of what I deal with every day when I deal with our young people. So I just want to encourage people to, you know, take initiative to look at yourself first in the mirror. Start reflecting on what's important and what's true and what's right. And go out there and make a difference. Because too many of our young people are dying every day. Too many of our young people going to prison. Too much crazy conversation going on and not enough work out here in our community. And so I think this is what Dainhen Butler show here for. Even though you might see us on here and we're joking and having fun, but everybody have a goal to reach, man, and that's to make sure people's lives are changed every single day, whether it's one person or whether it's through an encouraging word, whether it's through our act or what we're doing. I found myself when I was in prison, it wasn't about me giving nobody suits and powers, because I really couldn't afford to do that. But people seeing the way I carried myself and how I tried to encourage them to do right. I didn't try to beat a person down, and that's what I do now, man. And one of my favorite sayings, now I'll leave it with this, was you have to be relatable to people and you have to instill hope. You know, when you're dealing with our young people, you have to be relatable, and that don't necessarily mean you have to be a hip-hop star or athlete. You just have to be able to be relatable to them and instill hope in them. And when they can feel that, you know what that is? It's called love.
Okay, so on the topic, no, I don't think love is enough. I think it's very important, but I don't think it's enough to sustain a true relationship. You have to know yourself, know what you want, get yourself together, bring something to the table, and build with that person. And start teaching the youth that that's what it takes. It's not just about the physical attraction and, oh, this person makes me laugh. Let them know about life skills, and when you find that partner, you want someone that you can build with and sustain something with. And definitely you can reach me at, my website is zsbtax.com. Like I said, getting ready for tax season, and I'm still looking for young adults who need to open checking accounts and learn how to make a budget and balance their checkbook, just hit me up on at the website, at the contact us, and I can get back to you.
Okay. In reference to the topic, love is love enough. I don't know if love even exists. And when I say it exists, I think that every individual deals with their own perception of life. And for me to say that your love is my love, it would be, in my personal opinion, a tad bit idiotic, because you have to deal with your life and your circumstances the way that best suits you. So I think a lot of times we try to put certain things up under one umbrella and one word. God is something to you and it's something else to another person. Or you could be serving the same God, but it could be two totally different perceptions. And that's just the realistic of the situation. In reference to picking the perfect partner, you know what? Whoever can write that book and it have some validity to it, I would read it, because I would love to have the perfect partner. I think that overall, my contribution is this. First, I have an obligation, and it's to my ancestors, because they fought for certain things to take place, and they didn't always necessarily reap the benefits of seeing the reward or even seeing it come into action. I have that same obligation. Whatever it is that I'm doing is for the goodness of my people, by any means necessary. And I'm not saying that because I got on the bow tie. I know I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I do like bean pies, but I'm no disrespect to them, but I'm not one. But my point is this, is that I do have an obligation to my people, and I may not necessarily see the rewards of that. It may happen or it may not happen at all, but my existence is dedicated to that fight, and it's just that simple. And whether it be I may not have a message that you'll listen to, but maybe I can go call somebody who has the message that's going to get you to where you need to be, and that's it. It don't have to be the Dainhen Butler Show. And y'all know that this is just a title. We all come together with ideas. I follow leads, and I can lead. That's what a team does. And I think that within that, we'll have a stronger impact on the world. I can be reached at this. I'm a case manager right now for at-risk teens out in Clayton County. We're at Hype, helping young people evolve. We're right there on Taylor Road, 7884 Taylor Road. We deal with 14 to 24-year-olds. We're coming to the end of this quarter, so you want to get your kids up through there if you can. I can be reached at 678-891-9690. Also, I just obtained my licensing to offer anger management through the internet. So it don't matter what state you're in or what county you're in, I could administer anger management by way of the internet. On your phone, you can reach me. You ain't even got to leave your house. If you busted the windows out his car and you know you need anger management, you're gonna give me a call. You can Google me. They gave me a nice little website and everything. Ooh, I love my bow tie. But on a serious note, I want to thank Instinct Radio, and I thank all of my guests. I called you guys on short notice, but you showed up passionate, and you're everything that I thought that you would be. Instinct Radio has lent a hand to me and allowed me to come and speak my mind, and I appreciate that. They've given me a platform to try to put some goodness into the world, and that's an awesome place to be. I'm thankful for everybody that's here and everybody that's tuning in. This is Instinct Radio. I'm Dainhen Butler, and we'll see you guys next week.
This is crazy important.
In the mix.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Don't go nowhere. Show.